Welcome everyone, I am the World Archivist, here to bring you the ever-expanding network of stories of the wider multiverse. Today, we head back to the Fangmoor as we cover the events of the 13th day. Now this particular entry is shorter than the others, but regardless, I hope you enjoy it all the same. And if you do enjoy it, do leave a like on the video and a conversational comment to spur the algorithm. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. It all helps immensely. Now with all that out of the way, on to the story. Looking over the now marshy clearing, Norio processed what had happened in the past half hour. It started when they were greeted by the gruesome sight of two familiar Ogroni, the brute Jorichi and the footman Katsu, who approached with stiff movements and heavily slurred speech. Despite the initial confusion, they seemed friendly, but everyone present understood the grim reality of them. Death of the soul was not an end, nor was the destruction of one's body. With no greater clues to follow, the group elected to head in the direction the pair had come from, either to find who did this, or find clues as to where they may have gone. They found neither, instead finding something much worse. They came from the forest, an all-consuming fog at their back. Judging by the colorful but stained clothes and the particularly short stature, they were the elves they had previously only seen remnants of. But most of the beings before them were distorted things, foggy-eyed and bleeding shadows, gathering around the few of their number that seemed to maintain themselves. They were surprisingly aggressive for such a small force. In hindsight, that should have been the biggest warning, but he ignored it, and the cost of his underestimations were great. He watched them die. He watched as Shigeko and Chieko were torn asunder by the cannons they carried. He watched as Ma Narai was mauled by a pack of dogs that seemed to materialize from the ravenous fog. Watched a cavalry charge, headed by a twisted creature whose nose glowed like a hot ember. He even watched Jorichi and Katsu die again. He should have died with them, as atonement for his failures. But like the servants of the giant before them, the short ones, heading the cry of what Norio could only assume was their leader, scampered off into the forest, seemingly taking the fog with them, leaving only a clear view of the blood-soaked battlefield. It was a damned nightmare, but one he didn't have the time to dwell on. A voice behind him snapped him back to attention. "Friend, can you help me out with this?" called Murakuno, standing next to the slain plow beast. Walking up and bracing himself to push against the beast, Norio turned to the monk. "Where are the others?" "Kaeda went off somewhere. Didn't say where. Didn't feel right asking. As for Ma, she hasn't moved much," he replied, nodding towards the now catatonic Madurai, mumbling incoherently to themselves. "Now, on my mark." Aiding Murakuno in his task, they were able to gather the bodies of their slain quickly. But Norio couldn't ignore the troubled look on the monk's face throughout. He couldn't blame him, though. They all aided in Katsu's last rites, watch in honor as his body burned to ash. To see them return as one of those things, it turned his stomach. "We will purge this blight. Save this place. I promise you this," he said. "I believe you. But I pray it is soon, for our sake and theirs," Morocco replied, a small smile spreading across his face. A yelp echoed from nearby, drawing their attention. Rushing to the source, they found Kaeda holding their hand and gritting their teeth. "Don't worry, it'll heal." "Don't worry, it'll heal," he said to the others. "What happened?" Norio ordered. "I was scouting around, looking for where those things went. Found a small tunnel nearby. When I went closer to check, some thing attacked my hand." "A thing?" Norio thought, mindlessly moving towards where Kaeda had stumbled from. Inspecting the field, he caught the glint of something as a great pain seared his mind. Powered by determination and spite, he closed in on the object, which revealed itself to be an orb, roughly. Its shape was in a constant state of flux, smooth one moment and jagged the next, a swirling nebula of colors at its heart. Picking it up, energy jumped from the orb and crackled up his arm. In the moment, he understood it, and it understood him. Catching up to him, Morocco and Kaeda winced at the sight of Norio's new bauble. "What is that?" the monk asked. "This?" Norio replied, pointing the orb out, causing a crack of energy to fly and fell a nearby tree, the now exposed heartwood quickly decaying to nothing. "This is a solution to all of our problems,"